Hello there my little darlings, and welcome back to another little episode of the Warframes. And today, as you can see on the screen, we are taking another look at Gyre. I've already done a Gyre video, how to get her, and some of my builds that I was working on with her. But on the 19th of March, the devs released update 38.5, I believe it was. Big old update, lots of stuff going on. And this one, this beautiful new Deluxe skin for Gyre was released, and also some Augment mods, and Gyre just happened to be one of those. So we're going to take a look at that in this video today and see how I got on with those, and take a little look at the fashion frame. So if this video or any of my other videos tickle your fancy, could you tickle my like, comment and or sub button, all three? You get a gold star, maybe a little smooch. Okay, no tongues. I won't make it weird. But in the meantime, my darlings, let's get into it. So firstly, let's take a look at this new skin. It is the Vortengeist skin. It's got a proper little steampunk vibe going on, and it costs by itself 165 plat, but you can get the Gyre Vortengeist collection, and you have the skin there for the alternates as well. I didn't want any of that, I just wanted the Gyre skin. Now, however, they have updated the game in such a way that these bundles, sometimes they have items in there that you can't buy separately, but you bought something from the bundle, so you're very reluctant to buy the whole entire bundle because you're going to get an item again and you don't really want it. Well, guess what? They've updated it so that the game knows that you already own an item from the bundle, and it will take that price away from the total. It's not a discount per se, it's something you've already paid for. They're not going to make you buy it again, and I think that's a really good bit of progress there, because I mean, there are so many bundles and you're just not going to be able to memorize what's where, are you? So yeah, good times. So let's take a look at this skin in all its glory. This is the original colour palette, and I like the silky effect. The only thing I was a bit disappointed was with these coils, they don't flare out like this skin that you're seeing here. The skirt flares out and lights up like beautifully, but these electrical coils, they're kind of just giving Kuva Siphon. They don't really do much. They just kind of go bzz and wiggle around with electric energy, but for some reason I thought they would flare out and there would be like a web of a ball gown of electric energy between them, but they don't do that, and that's absolutely fine and everything, because look at it, it's a beautiful skin with my color palettes on, and I've changed the helmet around as well. That's not the original Vortengeist helmet. And I've put the bloodshed sigil on with white, so it makes everything look more sparkly. It doesn't always show up in mission, however. I mean, it doesn't matter. And here I have my new ephemera from the Technosite coder I just did, which I kind of really like. I don't know why. The giant eyeball around the back. I don't know why I like it so much. And a vibrant pink, but I really do like the white with the blue and the gold. That's very sexy. I love that. So what are we thinking of this new skin? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Would you spend 165 plat on it? Are you a Gyre main? Do you just think, screw it, I'll buy it? Or are you just like, nah, I don't care either way? I'm interested in the comments. So moving on to her new Augment mod, Conductive Sphere. I went and bought this from the Arbiters of Hexus Syndicate for 25,000 standing. They're usually available at more than one syndicate. And this is for her first ability, Arc Sphere. And it says that projectiles that pass through arc spheres have a guaranteed electricity status effect and up to 75% once fully fused electricity damage, which is freaking awesome. The other augment I always use is Cathode Current, and that's in all of my Gyre builds, and it always will remain because it's an amazing augment mod. But in the process of making this video, I knew I wanted to revisit my Gyre build, because as much as I love it, and I love the Exultra Prime that I use with it, and it does a lot of damage and it kills a lot of enemies, I knew that I wanted to try something different, and I thought, what better time than trying the new augment mod than to try a slightly different build. Now, bear with me. I originally had a pillage build on my Gyre, and it was doing amazing because obviously it's armor stripping the enemies, but then I realized there's actually other ways to armor strip the enemies, and I have a raw build that I wanted to use, so I needed to replace the armor stripping with something else. So let's have a quick look at my original Archon shard loadout. So I haven't revisited this in a while, so I want to update it. And obviously I've got the purple shards that give 15% ability damage on enemies affected by electricity status. Very useful for a Gyre build. And extra ability strengthens some armor. And that's fine, but we can improve on that. But I just want to show you this because the footage you're going to see contains those Archon shards. And this is the build. This is my original build. I don't know if I used Overframe to help me, but this is what I came up with, and I put pillage on her second ability, which is Hildren's armor stripping and shield boosting ability. Very useful. And as you can see, we've got cathode current in there, and at the moment I've got Augur Secrets, which boosts up my ability strength, but I'm going to replace that in the next build with the new augment. But for now, I just wanted to show you my base Gyre build, and like I said, I use my Exceltra Prime with that, my Epitaph Prime, and I've been using the Duriga or Durija companion, and this was the loadout. Now this changes ever so slightly by like 1 mod. I've also recently put Manifold Bond in here, so that's a new mod that I wasn't using previously, maybe on my previous Gyre build, or my previous Gyre video, I should say. So this is what you're going to see in action now, and it's not too bad. Oh, and whoopsie, I forgot to mention the Verglass Prime, which is my companion weapon. This was the Ninjase build, as you can see across the top. I probably brought this up in my Gyre video, and it does okay. We've gone to a Lure Conjunction Survival, not Steel Path. It's an Omnia Fisher, so it's a bit higher level enemy, and look how beautiful Gyre looks in her blue, with her big blue eye. Anyway, my order of operations always when I use Gyre is to pop that pillage ability, so the second ability, and then I pop her third ability, shooty bang bang a few enemies to charge it up a little, and then by charge it up I mean like increase the number of like how long it's going to last for, and then pop her fourth ability, and that's when the fun really begins. Now you don't need duration on Gyre because her third and fourth abilities replenish themselves when you kill things. And yes, the arc spheres lasting a bit longer when you pop them down, those big domes of electrical energy and damage. Lasting longer would be great, but with this build I tend to never run out of energy anyway, so it's absolutely fine. That could be something to do with my companion mods, dropping more energy balls or health balls or whatever's going on over there. This build has done me so well for so long. However, now with the new Augment mod, I feel like it's time to move on and let go of my Exceltra Prime build with this. So this is when I started looking into a different Gyre build slightly. I did have a raw build, so I wanted to revisit that. So that's where we're going to begin. So enjoy this footage because, you know, you can see some red crits going on and a lot of things dying in a reasonable manner. But we can do better than this. So let's away to my Helminth, because even though I had a raw mod configuration on my Gyre, when I went to use it, it was actually Volt's ability Shock on there, and I think it's because I wanted to use his Shock Trooper Augment mod to do with electric damage, and it didn't really work out, so I must have just left it as called raw. So first thing I had to do was put raw back into that mod configuration, and I added it into my second ability. So raw is Rhino's Helminth's ability, if you didn't know. As you can see, I'd already called it raw, so I must have been, you know, testing and fiddling and just settled on my pillage builds and was happy with that. So that was the first thing I wanted to do. The next thing I did was I wanted to switch out these Archon shards, these 2 red Archon shards, one for an emerald green one. Now, if you don't know, the green Archon shards, which you can make using yellow and blue Archon shards, and if you use Tau Forged, then obviously you'll make a Tau Forged green. Those give corrosive stacks. Now, because I'm not using pillage anymore for armor stripping, corrosive stacks can armor strip. In fact, they do, and you can max stack them. However, you need to proc for corrosive, which is why I went down this rabbit hole of realizing that I can't carry on using my Exceltra Prime. That just isn't going to cut it. And that's when I searched on the internet and I found a channel called Well Played Ninjas, who had a Phantasma build for their Gyre, and I thought I'd try that out. It also agreed when I, you know, searched it on the internet. Phantasma is actually good for corrosive procking if you put the right build in, and I happen to have a Phantasma Riven with Toxin in, and Toxin Electric make altogether now corrosive damage. So as you can see, I'm just finishing off adding in another Tau Forged Violet Archon shard, but in this case I actually gave my primary electricity damage. I just thought I'd try it, and I've left it like that for now. The other 2 are the ones giving the electrical damage to your abilities, etc. And then we have some armor, and there you go. That's now my Archon shard loadout that you're about to see in action. And so this is the Gyre build you're about to see. So I've switched out Augur Secrets for Conductive Sphere, and I did notice in Well Played Ninjas that he'd put Prime Redirection in, which was a really good idea. I wanted to boost up my shields because I now don't have pillage to do that, and Gyre's shields are a bit low. So shoving in Prime Redirection, great idea. I might swap it out for something else at some point, I'm not sure, but this is what you're about to see in the footage. And then the Phantasma Prime build does come from Well Played Ninjas, but my Riven is slightly different to theirs. I just happen to have this one sat around. I've never used my Phantasma Prime, so I decided to fuse it up I'd re-rolled it a couple of times, and here we are. And yeah, it had a load of toxin in, and toxin and electric make the corrosive damage that we need so badly. So this Phantasma Prime, even though it's at rank 14 and I've put a former in it, it's still mullered everything at this stage. And of course, we've got room to put another mod in here. So this is what you're about to see in action. Brace yourselves. And obviously our purple shard is going to help our primary boost the electrical whatnots. And sometimes I switch to my secondary, which is my epitaph. This is my epitaph build. Feel free to have a look at that. And then I'm just briefly showing the melee because I rarely melee. But I brought Kume's Amanata because it sometimes gives you final critical damage multipliers, etc. And then my beloved Dirija, however you want to pronounce it. This is the companion build with the arc coil. The shield charger is very, very useful. Manifold Bond is working over time, and all these mods in conjunction with each other are brilliant. And then I decided to make a corrosive Verglass Prime build, and it's not great, but it all helps, doesn't it? What we want to do is start armor stripping our enemies, especially when we're on a steel path. So feel free to pause and have a look at these builds and allow them to inspire you. But we are going to look at them in action. And remember, we now have the new Augment Mod in, which is dropping the arc sphere and shooting through it to help us with that electrical damage. So this is footage from where I was actually ranking up, and I decided to press record because of the crazy stuff that was happening. Now, I did die at the beginning because I hadn't quite got the hang of it, but after I sorted myself out, it was amazing. So this is actually Lua Circulus, Steel Path Omnia Fisher. So the enemies start at level 200 plus, and they have all the steel path factors on top of them, you know, the extra armor, etc., which is where this armor stripping comes in. Super useful with these corrosive stacks. And if you're not sure how many corrosive stacks you've got going on, all you've got to do is look at the little bars above the enemy's heads, and there's a teeny tiny little symbol. I probably could blow it up for my footage. There's a little teeny tiny corrosive symbol, and there's a number next to it, and it's often around 13 here. I don't know if it's actually 13 in this footage, but it definitely gets up to 13 corrosive stacks, which means we're stripping the armor nicely. So because I was ranking up, this isn't like the full build, but this went crazy, and I just wanted you to enjoy it as much as I was. So I ducked out because I wasn't fully ranked up. I mean, as you can see, Gyre was on 28 and Phantasma ranked up to 14. Doing Steel Path Omnia Fisher solo, and it was fine. Oh my goodness, I had a blast, and I just wanted to show you by the time I finished faffing around. Unfortunately, the Omnia Fisher had expired on the Steel Path Circulus, so we just went to Steel Path Circulus, but it's still a tricky mission, still high level enemies, and I just love the fact that you get so many enemies to kill. And I really did notice the difference with Raw, when you pop Raw and then you drop down the Arc Sphere, and of course we've got the Augment Mod now impacting the Arc Spheres. You can immediately see like a difference in the amount of damage you're doing to the enemies. You start getting more kind of like red crits, and it's almost like the chain reaction feels more like intense. Everything was just dying around me, or like we were proccing the corrosive stacks with our Phantasma, and that's just, as you can see, just stripping off their armor quite nicely. So what's not to freaking look at them? They're just melting out of my way. And I just noticed that there were enemies dying all over the place, probably because of my other cathode current augment, spreading that electrical boogaloo damage around. I have fallen deeply, madly, truly in love with this Gyre build. This Raw build is really good. The Pillage build is excellent, but with the Phantasma Prime as well, and props to Well Played Ninjas for that idea, it's amazing. Why haven't I used this weapon before? But firstly, and secondly, like with Gyre, I feel like there's even more we could do. I don't know if I put another green Archon shard, whether that doesn't matter. Maybe I need to put another Archon shard. Maybe I need to put another Archon shard in. another green one. I don't know. I like the fact she's got a bit of armor though. And as you can see, her shields are actually higher now than when we had pillage on her. And Derigas or Derigas companion mods are also helping with our shields, regenerating them. And also Verglass Prime is also proccing the corrosive stacks for us. What's not to love? Are you not impressed? And I know other people are gonna suggest different things, but honestly, I'm enjoying this. So I usually only use Gyre for these Omnia Fishers anyway, because I need a lot of enemies to keep her abilities running, like I mentioned earlier. And I find this like a real stress reliever to come here at the end of the day and murder a load of things quickly. Like what more does one person need in their life? Is, you know, some carefree murdering, right? And looting, and also when it's an Omnia Fisher, you get all the prime goodies, and especially when you're in a big old squad. Do you know what I mean? So my darlings, here you go. Are you going to try this build? Are you going to try a different build? Do you have a Gyre build that you want to share with us? Do you have a better weapon combo? Are we not corrosive proccing? Like, what's going on over there? Let me know. In the land of Warframes, I'm always open to ideas. Oh, and by the way, one of these 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse popped in. I mean, it's happened on the other missions I was doing. I know that's not their names, I just can't remember what they're called. But yeah, it wasn't a problem. I just shooty bang banged with my Epitaph Prime. And then all the other damage just sort of seemed to take them down. The Phantasma is fantastic. Like, why have I not... I'm a bit sad that I haven't been using it, because it was a shotgun. I was like, well, I don't really like shotguns. But it's like a beam weapon. It's like a beam shotgun. And I've got 2 of them. I got 2 Phantasma Primes, probably from my old account. When I merged my Xbox account into my PC, and I already had one on my PC, but neither of them were forward. I hadn't given it any time, and now it feels like the absolute perfect weapon with Gyre. And I was thinking about trying the new core, the Kuva new core, as a secondary, because that will also link damage together, and maybe I could do corrosive with it, or electrical damage. I do have electric based damage one, maybe, possibly, I don't know. But I shall keep working on it and then bring you back in at a later date if I can improve upon it and we can murder more things. Anyway, my darlings, I just want to say, go out and try Gyre. She's freaking amazing. And go and check out my other Gyre video on how to get her, etc. And yeah, check out any of my other many videos. I've started putting my face into some of my videos with my longer playthroughs, like Red Dead Redemption 2, Days Gone. You're going to see my visage for the whole video, me kind of reacting to the games and gurning at the camera. Apologies, but I thought it might make us all feel a bit more connected, you know, and that's what I want. I want me and my audience to feel like we're at one with each other in not a weird way, okay? I'll always make it weird, but it's fine, because it's Coffee Barbarian and you're safe here. Anyway, my darlings, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope to see you again in the next one, no matter what it may be. But in the meantime, you take care now, carry on being electric boogaloos, and goodbye!